mo na makapeling ang bagong Emperador Coffee Brandy. Handa ka na ba para sa ibang klaseng coffee break ngayong September? Hashtag Emperador Coffee Brandy and hashtag sarap makafeel good. Malapit mo na makapeling ang bagong Emperador Coffee Brandy. Handa ka na ba para sa ibang klaseng coffee break ngayong September? Hashtag Emperador Coffee Brandy and hashtag sarap makafeel good.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 3 of JCA 2002 Live. And I am your host for this evening, William Theo. And of course, we're going to start. We have a lot of things in store for you tonight. So, do you love wellness and always wanted to be your own boss? Wouldn't it be great to work in an industry that you love and work in it every day? Well, today we will talk about mental well-being, aromatherapy, essential oils, life coaching, and anything and everything in between. We will also have conversations and meaningful discussions with these noble alumni as they share their intriguing opinions, stories, journeys, and how they continue redefining, reinventing, and expanding their approaches to wellness in the face of this COVID-19 pandemic. And before we introduce our guests, let me share with you the mechanics for tonight's giveaway, where 2 viewers will get a chance to win. Number 1, our first is 1 flower arrangement from Beyond Flowers by Sabrina worth 4,000 pesos. That's exciting. And 1 tub signature lamp from the Chinky Chef. Health goodies from D Cup Republic and Jane's Cheese. So basically, those are the exciting things we have in store for you. So the giveaway mechanics are: viewers from YouTube, comment using hashtag JCA2002. And second, smash the like button and hit subscribe. Now, if you're a viewer from Facebook, comment using the hashtag JCA2002. Share the live stream and like the JCA page, JCA 2002 page rather. Okay, so we are back, and the wellness industry is valued, can you believe, at $4.5 trillion, according to research by the Global Wellness Institute. So that's quite a lot of money. Today, there is a stream of ideas for entrepreneurs looking to get into health-based businesses, because in this time of pandemic, the only wealth you really have is your health. So wellness has never been as important to people as they are now. And what does it really take to succeed in the wellness journey? So let's pause for a quick break and check out our generous sponsors. And remember, keep everything coming. So we will also choose 2 winners at the end of the show. So don't go away. This whole thing will be really exciting. Okay, we are back and we're about to start the show. And in this episode, we are graced by the presence of a distinguished guest and alumni, Miss Candy Tang. Okay, and Candy's story. Yes, hi, Candy.
Hello, everyone. Great evening.
Yes, and it's nice for you to be here with us. And Candy's story is a testimony that life begins outside of your comfort zone. She stands as an advocate for mental fitness and speaks on behalf of her fellow fighters to embrace their conditions and rise above and overcome. So Coach Candy is a full-time certified CACC life coach and certified mental health coach to help individuals to become mentally fit, to heal and recover from their broken identity, name, and dreams so that they can courageously journey outside of their comfortable lifestyle into a life of stewardship. So how good is that? And of course, the best thing about it is she is an alumna of JCA batch 2003. So thank you for joining us, Candy.
Hello, Tio. Great evening.
Yes,
So thank you for having me here.
Yes, and actually, I'm really excited even earlier to be able to talk to you, and I'm sure all of our viewers also, because our topic is sobrang sa Tagalog, no, akmang-akma sa sitwasyon natin ngayon na we are about Miss Candy, almost 2 years in this pandemic, di ba?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
so,
and
mhm.
okay. So and we all know that it is it's already common right now during the pandemic, no, that everyone's mental health is already affected in some way or another. So this is a very, very timely topic. So thank you for doing this topic.
Yes. And in this episode, marami tayong matutulungan, I'm sure. Okay. So, Miss Candy, my first question is, what is a life coach and what is not? And what is the difference between a life coach and a therapist? Because para bang ang daming different di ba? Yung para bang different titles ano talaga yung tama dyan?
Yeah, so when you talk about life coach, it is actually the second fastest growing profession in the world today.
Mm-mm.
And if you can see, no, madami talaga nagtatawag. So many people call themselves as coaches or life coaches. Mm-hmm. But what distinguishes a professional certified life coaches is they undergo a certification process and may continuing education. So everyone can actually call themselves as a coach. Everyone can. But we believe that it is more responsible for you to have yourself go through the process of certification, because kasi pag nakita niyo yung title, no, it's life. So you don't just coach anything. You coach a person's life. So when you coach a person's life, it can either make the person or break the person. That's why it requires so much responsibility and education involved. And what sets it apart from therapists is usually, when you talk about mental health na to, no, pag therapy, in life coaching as well, we have as well, no, certified mental health coach. So it's a different field from certified life coaches. And when you talk about therapy, therapists always work on the past towards the present. So they explain why you are like this in the present. Well, in coaching, the focus it's really result based, and it is based from the present towards the future. So the past is just a backdrop. So regardless of what happened in the past, how is it affecting now in your present, and how do you want to go towards your future? When you talk about the future, this can be the goals, the visions, the dreams that you have as a person. And what sets us apart is that we can work with people even regardless of their mental state condition. Ibig sabihin, kahit po clinically diagnosed with mental illnesses, we work with people, especially if it's a certified mental health coach. Kasi po, even if a person has a mental health condition, no, everyone has dreams, everyone has goals.
Yes.
So we look at the person beyond the sickness.
Okay, galing. So kumbaga, this is another thing to say that there is hope for everybody. Talagang no matter how
Yes.
bad, or para bang if you're just mild, or yung para bang even if you're very depressed, there's nothing that we can't help as long as the person is open-minded enough to want to be helped. Parang ganon.
Yes, that's the key thing there, no, Tio, is that the
Mm-hmm.
person needs to want to be helped.
Tama,
So it
tama.
has to
Oo.
come from the person, that the person decides to be helped. So it's unlike yung iba na psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist na pino-force sila ng parents nila to go through the process. In life coaching, it has to come from the will of the person. Kailangan sila yung empowered to make that decision for their own life, because again, it is their life and it's no one else's life. So no one can dictate that for them.
Okay, so Gali, before we start, we'd like to say hello to some of our viewers. Marami tayong viewers ngayon na ang galing ng ating show. So hello to Elizabeth Onyas, Charlene Ong, Joanna May Flores, Hasmin Miroy, Sab C, Crislin Lauhu, Tindehoya, Ili Gramata, Stephanie Ann, Trisha Carino, and Nordelin Dacus Cales. Ayun ang ating mga ngayon na para bang our viewers sa ngayon. So we have, I think we're gonna have a lot of people watching us today. So Miss Candy, our first question is, what is the difference between mental wellness and para bang mental health? Ganon. Is there a big difference on that?
Yes, there is actually a big difference, no? Just like in physical health, i-relate muna natin sa physical health so people can have a better understanding, no, a grasp of it. Because pag sinabi mo mental health, oftentimes people think of mental sickness. But just like physical health, di ba? Pag tinanong ka naman kamusta yung physical health mo, it doesn't mean it is asking if you have a certain condition physically, no? It's just asking kamusta yung buong physical state mo. So it's the same. So when you talk about mental health naman, the definition of mental health is actually, it comprises of 4 aspects. So this is according to WHO definition, or World Health Organization. So the person is able to realize his or her own potential. That's the first one. Second is can cope with the normal stressors of life. Third, can work productively and fruitfully. And lastly, is able to make a contribution to his or her own community. So if you're going to assess your mental health, you're going to look at these 4 aspects. So if you're lacking one, again, it doesn't mean that you are mentally ill, but there needs to be improvement. That is where mental wellness comes in. Mental wellness is the way you do the lifestyle, no? What are the things that you do in order for you to arrive in a certain mental health that you desire? So yun talaga yung difference niya. It's more of mental health is the state, and mental wellness is your road, your journey towards the mental health.
Okay, so para bang when they say sound mind and body, yung soundness of mind is the state of our mental health. Parang ganon.
Yes.
Okay.
And
yes. So go ahead. Yes, Rob.
And actually, when you talk about pag sound mind, kasi di ba very broad siya. So you want to be able to look at it in 4 aspects. In that 4 aspects, para mas siya. You have a clear definition. Mas may track kang susundan. So that's something that the viewers can do, no, in order for them to assess in terms of their mental health as well.
Okay. So, was there a particular person or event, Candy, sa buhay mo that inspired you to live a wellness-focused lifestyle? And can you tell us about your main motivation, kung what drove you? Para bang, because this will help a lot of people. Yung para bang, honestly, life coaching, it's kind of like a gray area pa. Hindi katulad ng para bang, when you're a doctor, it's very specific. Okay, I'm a cardiologist, I'm an endocrinologist, ganun. Pero life coaching, napaka-challenging yan because you will be dealing with different types of people. And ako, the way I see it is what works for one person may not necessarily work for the other one. So talagang very specialized and individualistic ang approach natin dapat, di ba?
Yes, Theo, you got it. No, when you talk about life coaching, it is actually very much individualized because we recognize the individuality and the uniqueness of a person. So tama, no? One thing will apply to another person, and the other thing will not apply to another person. So in my case, it's more of a dalawang side yung akin, no? It started with my physical wellness journey. So I remember Pastor Paul Calamyong. So I think he is now the principal, no, sa Jubilee Christian Academy. But before, alam mo yung I was living like an unseen life. So very wala lang, bata lang ganon. It was during, I think, I'm transitioning to high school, no. We were in a tennis. We went into a tennis kasi kasama siya nung uncle ko. So he is a friend. And then while we were waiting for a ride, no, we were shooting hoops, so basketball. And then nakita niya doon yung I would say talent. Ayan. So nakita niya talent ko and he asked me if I would like to join the basketball varsity. And from there, no, nag-start na siya. So I started going to basketball varsity. I was a basketball varsity. Tapos may volleyball, may table tennis. So that started all the physical health journey. And then eventually, as I graduated, I transitioned to badminton. Talagang part siya ng lifestyle ko, yung being active and being a varsity, no. Very disciplined. Nandun yung discipline, nandun yung structure of taking care of the health. Diyan din nag-start yung diet ko. But then there is a certain part of my life that no matter how healthy I was, no, I went into yoga, I went into Pilates, I was a fitness instructor. So nagtuturo talaga ako. So I was doing it professionally. I was serving. But then again, there's a moment in my life na yung mental health ko nag-breakdown siya. It really crumbled. So I was clinically diagnosed with multiple mental illnesses, no. So I was ADHD, bipolar, I had postpartum depression, I had PTSD because I was sexually molested and I was raped, no? And I have multiple personalities. So if you're wondering if totoo yung multiple personalities, totoo po siya. So I have 6 known personalities before. So yung nakikita nyo ngayon, don't be alarmed na yung nakikita nyo ngayon sa screen, iisa na lang po siya. I am healed. So I as well, no, have a eating disorder. So it came to a point in my life that I was very suicidal and I couldn't get up from bed. Yes. So doon ko nakita yung physical health ko bumagsak talaga siya. It's because of the mental health. Then here comes life coaching, and the second person that really impacted me is our master coach, Master Coach A, and she is as well, no, my personal coach until now. So until now, I am working with her. So she's the one doing the certification here in the Philippines, and she is the creator and founder of Life Coach Philippines and chairman of this Decaf Coffee Republic kung nasaan ako, which is the home of certified life coaches. Ayan. So
nice.
Ano talaga siya, ha? From being active to naging dormant talaga ako na ayoko lumabas ng bahay. I was afraid of people. I didn't like talking to people. Naging galit ako sa mundo. So very opposite talaga. And then when I got into life coaching, that all changed, no, dahan-dahan in the process. And then through the process of life coaching, I got healed. So to answer the question, it's really Pastor Paul Calamyong and Master Coach A that really helped me and impacted me to have that wellness journey.
Wow, that was very inspiring, Miss Candy. No, ang galing yan. And that's how you can tell somebody's effective because kung baga pinagdaanan na nila yung mga pinagdadaanan ng iba, so you know exactly how to help them. So thank you, Nako. Thank you for the time you spent with us, and we're gonna go back to you later. But right now, let's pause for a quick break and thank our wonderful sponsors. Without them, hindi po matutuloy ang ating show ngayon. And keep those questions and comments coming in. We will choose 2 winners at the end of the show. Okay, so ayun ang ating mga sponsors, and nowadays the use of alternative and complementary therapies with mainstream medicine has gained momentum. This method is a natural way of healing a person's mind, body, and soul. Many ancient civilizations like Egypt, China, and India have used this as a complementary and alternative therapy for at least 6,000 years. Wow, that's a long time. It's an established treatment method for various complications and, of course, conditions. It has since remained relevant and has gained importance in the different fields such as therapeutic, cosmetic, aromatic, fragrant, spiritual, and food safety uses. So let us know more about aromatherapy and its benefits from our next guest, Ms. Jubilee Go. She is a certified aromatherapist, graduate of the New York Institute of Aromatic Studies since 2019. She's the current Philippine ambassador for AirMid Institute and the country representative also. So thank you for gracing our show, Jervy. We'd like to welcome you in now.
Hi, hello everyone.
Yes, hi, Jervy. Thank you so much for gracing the show. And before we start, can you tell us a little bit about your story? This is very interesting, and I know aromatherapy has become very popular over the past few years.
All right, so I started in 2018, and at that time, sobrang wala pang essential oils in the Philippines. So I was one of the first who actually took the certification. So just like Candy, I decided to make this as my profession. I took up studies. I got certified from New York. And at that time, I think we were only dalawa lang kami. So I know of another girl lang who is certified as me. It all started because I was rescuing cats. I was rescuing animals here in the Philippines, and umabot na sila, I think, more than a dozen. So it triggered my asthma. I never knew I had asthma. So it triggered my asthma, and for a time in my life, I was taking Claritin every single day, and that's bad. We all know that. So it's gonna hit our liver, right? So I realized now, okay, I don't want to take this for the rest of my life. I needed to find another solution. So I did my research, found out about essential oils, and tried it myself. And it worked for me, luckily. And it inspired me. Now, okay, so this works. And it's not that mahal. So, ayun, I got into it. You know, it's the start of the rabbit hole. And then here I am today.
Yes. Okay. So that's a great story. So para bang syempre we all want yung para bang safe solutions, no? Pero for our viewers also, Jerby, can you tell us, can you define us in a couple of words, what is aromatherapy exactly?
Okay, so aromatherapy is basically using your sense of smell to support your wellness. Here in the Philippines, when we say aromatherapy, people would always relate it to ay pangpabango ng room, right? But it's actually more than that. It's more than making your room smell amazing. Essential oils are really instant yung effect niya, and it has like at least now, marami na rin siyang mga research, not as much as in the medical field, but more and more people are getting into it, and therefore more and more people in institutions are researching more about it. So it's basically using essential oils to support your health.
Okay. And I also understand parang it's safe, di ba? You can use it with pets or anything, and para bang pagkaalam ko also there's a specific essential oil for a specific concern. Kung baga, halimbawa, if you have a headache, iba yung essential oil or a combination of both. Parang ganon, if you have fever or if you're fatigued. Tama ba yun, Mr. B?
That's right. You're right on that. And I also like what you mentioned kanina kay Candy. Just like with life coaching, with essential oils also, what may work for you, it may not necessarily work for me. So it's very personalized as well.
Okay, I see. So para bang there you will recommend a different set of oils from person to person depending on what they're going through.
That is right.
Okay, so yung next question ko na, what are the best essential oils? Walang ganon, because the best essential oils will be different from person to person. Ganon.
Tama. So for me, there's no such thing as best. And this is me coming from someone who really took the certification, yung nag-aral. Of course, when you ask people, when you say best, it's always subjective. They will always push for the brand that they're using. But from someone who really took the studies, and in any aromatherapies that you ask all over the world, they can't say na, oh, best yung brand ko. What guides us to choose which brand to use is we have to get to know the company. So we have to get to
Okay.
know. In fact, when I talk to my peers in Europe, it goes as much as being with the producer, yung farmer mismo. We get in touch
Mhm.
with the farmer, get to
Wow.
know how they grow it, how they plant it, how they harvest. Even yung time of harvesting the plant is very, very important. It's that meticulous. So
Wow.
the best, yeah. So the best essential oil brand, at least, is it has to have like dapat clean siya from planting, from soil to harvest.
Okay, so that is what the best is. Yung para bang okay. And what about Mr. B? Yes,
Mhm.
what about ito? We have some questions from our viewers already. So I'd like to add this one because maraming may misconception no na mahal daw itong essential oil. So what are the tips for beginners who wants to use aromatherapy but are on a budget? How do we ano 'yon? Paano kaya 'yon?
Great. So what's good about at this time, no?
Mhm.
Aromatherapy grew so much in the past year during the pandemic. And what's good
Mhm.
about this time is essential oils are super accessible now as compared to the
Mhm.
time that I started. When I started in 2018, I had to import everything. All
Mhm.
my class kit, all my pang-aral, I had to import it because I can't buy it anywhere here. Now, when you go to the malls, you can actually buy some from healthy
Mm.
options.
Oh,
And
yes,
then
yes. Yeah.
right. And then when you go to Gordo's, meron na rin doon. So the
Okay.
brands that I can recommend that are affordable, you don't really have to go for like the popular MLM brands.
Mhm.
You can if you have the budget. Why not? I also use some of those, but there's
Mhm.
always an option. So locally, you can choose Zelaroma. That's a good brand.
Mhm.
It's pure. I know the owners. I got to know the producer, so that's cool.
Mhm.
Another brand is Casa de Lorenzo.
Mhm.
Um, Again, you can go to healthy options and get Oracacia. If uso naman mag-import, like if you normally order things from abroad, from the US, or you have family who's coming over, kahit quarantine, diba, meron pa rin naman nakakapasok. You can check out Eden's Garden, you can check out Plant Therapy, you can check out Rocky Mountain Oils. These brands, meron nang nagbebenta sa Shopee. So it's very
Mhm.
accessible. It's very affordable. It's a third of the
Oh,
price from what you may think na mahal.
okay. So again, there's something for everybody. If you're on a budget, there's something for you. If you're willing to spend a lot, there's also something there. But it doesn't mean if you're on a budget, it's going to work any less. Tama? Nicole,
Correct.
we have a lot of questions for our two guests already, and we will get back to them. But before we do that, we're gonna have to pause for a short break, and then we're going to get both of our guests back together. So let's hear from our generous sponsors.
Malapit mo na ang makapeling ang bagong Emperador Coffee Brandy. Handa ka na ba para sa ibang klaseng coffee break ngayong September? Hashtag Emperador Coffee Brandy and hashtag sarap maka-feel good.
Okay, so we're back on JCA 2002 Live, and we are going to call back our two guests now. Of course, Jerby Go and Miss Candy Tang, and they will be together now because we will be going through talk points on another angle. And this is, of course, because they're both wellness entrepreneurs and or wellpreneurs and find freedom, flexibility, and healthy income online while others get stuck spinning their wheels, never finding clients or making sales. So that's going to be our first question. So can we call them both on now? Okay. Hi again, Candy and Jerby. Now you're both together, and these questions are basically for the two of you, and I'm really glad both young and beautiful and very, very successful. And so there. So now that you're basically your own boss, do you think that this is something that is an advantage to the situation now where maraming work from home and because of these crazy uncertain times? Okay, whoever wants to answer it first, maybe Miss Candy first.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So,
Mm-hmm.
technically, I think I think it should be addressed first, no, how people see entrepreneurs. Okay, kasi
Mm-hmm.
may misconception about being entrepreneurs that when you're entrepreneurs, you can just go to the beach, sip some ano no, some like cocktails or wine, and masarap yung buhay, no. But in
Mm-hmm.
reality, no, being an entrepreneur and being a business person, it's far from what people paint, no, ng picture na yon. It's far. And when you talk about being an entrepreneur, especially if you have people under you, no, it comes with responsibility. So for employees, technically, di ba, nakakatulog yan. Nakakatulog after work, you can sleep. But technically, being an entrepreneur, yes, you have the flexibility. Yes, you make the decisions, di ba? You make the decisions, especially the tough decisions. But eventually, you have more responsibility. And what I love being an entrepreneur is you are free to do and to explore on the products, on the service that you want to provide to your clients. I think that's the most is you can really enjoy serving people. In my case,
Mm-hmm.
since it's wellness industry, it's in the service industry, especially in life
Mm-hmm.
coaching. It's combined with life coaching. It is in the service industry. So if you're someone who really likes to serve, no, this is a good industry, but you have to make sure that you are clear with your purpose. Ano ba yung purpose mo of being an entrepreneur? Because if it is just about the money, then I'm sorry, no, I have to break it, but it will not last. It will not last because as an entrepreneur, you have your visions, you have your missions, and it has to be something bigger than yourself. And it is something larger than just having money. So I think that's something
Yes.
that should be talked about as well, no, when it comes to entrepreneurship.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. That's true. Being an entrepreneur, you're awake at night longer than most people thinking about the next move, how to take care of your people, who you want to help, how to evolve, a bunch of other things. Yung para bang unlike an employee, you're gonna get your paycheck every 15th and 30th or 10th and 25th, whichever it is. But anyway, Candy, I had this question a while ago. From one of our viewers. So I'll ask it now. Why do you think that every entrepreneur needs a life coach to succeed?
Yes, yeah, maganda tanong yan because I also have a
Uh,
business coach, but a life coach, a
uh,
business life
uh,
coach. So magkaiba siya. When you talk about business coaching kasi in a business life coach, magkaibang
mm-mm,
perspective siya.
mm-mm,
When you talk about business coaching, you're just focused on the business. But when you
mm-mm,
incorporate and you get as business life coach, they look into the person doing the business.
mm-mm,
Kasi yung tao yung gumagawa ng business, right? The person is behind the business. So you should be able to coach the person. And of course, no, when it comes to coaching, business coaching in general, you have to know your investments, you have to know
mm-mm,
your directions. And having a business coach, actually, ang tinitingnan nila dyan, it is costly.
mm-mm,
If you're going to look at it in the short term, it might be costly. But if you're going to look at it in a longer term, no, kasi working
mm-mm,
with a business coach allows you to broaden your perspective, broaden your horizons, allows you to see different paths as well, no, that you can do because oftentimes pag ang isang tao meron lang siyang isang certain path,
mm-mm,
isang certain way of doing things. But when you work with a business coach, they allow you to see multiple paths, create multiple solutions for you and your business. So that's a really good advantage. And working with a business coach allows you to see the macro perspective of the whole
mm.
industry. So technically, when you talk about business, no, mas matagal. Your business will be built to last, hindi siya short term. So you get
Okay.
not only on the trend, on the fad, but you think ahead. You think ahead, ano ba yung magiging valuable to the people like 5 years, 10 years from now. That's why it is built to last. That's why it is very important for you to go through business coaching and have a business coach. So if
Okay.
if you're really serious, no, into entrepreneurship, then this is something that you can do.
Okay, so basically it's all about sustainability also. Okay, so eto naman for Ms. Jerby. Second question is, why is it important to diversify your revenue streams and how to do it? So para bang for example, yun nga yung sa aromatherapy, because yung para bang how to introduce it so that more people will use it, because like you did mention, if you're using yung para bang, let's say, yung traditional Western medicines, minsan meron yan implications sa kidney, sa liver, ganon. And of course, etong aromatherapy and other natural sources is mas safe sa katawan, no?
Okay, so I just want to stress that not because it's natural, it's ultimately safe. So I like what you said na natural must safe. But let's not I guess negate the fact that essential oils would carry some risks as well. So like we meron tayong parang pahapyaw na conversation kanina when you said na, you know, there are different oils for different symptoms, and also there are different oils for animals. That is true, and that is why we promote, or especially my organization, at least yung Alliance of the Philippine Aromatherapists, is we promote education talaga, kasi we want to get rid of all of those misconceptions na, kasi what we see now, especially here in the Philippines, na, oh, it's essential oil porque it's labeled as organic, people think it's safe, but it's not true.
Oh, I
You
see.
have
So that's a
to be
misconception. Organic does not necessarily mean safe. It just means that it's organic, but not necessarily safe. Oh, I learned something new today.
Most especially, walang nagre-regulate ng organic here in the Philippines.
Okay.
So that's
see.
what's
Okay.
more scary.
Okay.
So you were talking about revenue stream, right? If you asked me about that maybe 3 years ago, I wouldn't know, because I was in the corporate industry. I was in the corporate world. I was working with P&G and Avon. I was handling brand. And I came into this very, very unexpectedly. Again, it's because of rescuing animals, and then one thing led to another, and here I am. So when I started to become a freelancer or an entrepreneur, I think, okay, I remember now when I quit my corporate job, I told my parents na, okay, I'm quitting my 9 to 5 because I wanted to be a YouTuber. It was a crazy idea for them, especially coming from a traditional Chinese family.
Yeah.
They're like, what the hell are you doing? Why are you throwing your entire future away? So they were really scared. And I think at that time, hindi pa ganun kalaking YouTube as well. So I said, I just wanted to do that because wala lang. I just wanted to do it. I really didn't understand, at least then, kung ano talaga yung direction ko. But I said I just wanted to do it. So I quit my work. I studied social media marketing. At that time, wala pang nagsa-social media rin. So I think I was one of the first to be certified as well. And then it's just that naging aromatherapy yung topic ng YouTube ko. And then eventually, over the past year, I also dabbled into podcasting. And then doon na nag-birth yung iba-ibang revenue stream. So I do YouTube, I do podcasting, I teach as well. So before the pandemic, I have monthly schedules with different institutions because I teach about essential oils. And now that it's pandemic, so we converted everything online. I think I got lucky because I started bago mag-pandemic. I know na yung ibang aromatherapists, because like right now I'm mentoring 10 girls who are taking their certification. And you know, I see their struggle na how can we break from this kasi hindi kami kilala, how can we get capture an audience. So that's how I guide them into that. But I guess I was just lucky because I started before the pandemic. But it's also a struggle to be able to convert everything online, kasi like how can you let your audience smell an oil? It's like impossible.
Yeah. Without physically
Correct.
being there, no? Okay.
It's very different. Yeah.
Okay, so eto, we have let's greet some of our viewers. We have a few viewers who are watching. So Eric Ray Gartedo, Pom Goles, Anton Lu, Sean Chong De Hoya, and John Boside. So basically that. So wait, before we continue with our question, there was one question that was left a while ago, Mr. B. What are some of the biggest misconceptions about aromatherapy pala? That is a question that one of our viewers were asking kanina.
Okay, so I guess one of the anchor points that I wanted to stress is yun nga, it's not because they say it's natural, it's safe, because there are risks. Like with essential oils, there are what you call hot oils. These oils can burn your skin in an instant.
Wow,
Yung mga,
okay.
yung mga accidents na yan, I've experienced it, most of it in my early days. So I can talk about it kasi meron akong personal experience. Oils like cinnamon, oregano, those are really strong and harsh. They cause dermal burning. And then there are oils that you call phototoxic or photosensitive. So if these oils are on your skin and you get exposed under the sun, you'll get sunburns. So that's another no-no. And then there are oils that can not be used on kids because it will constrict their air passageways and they may die from it. So there are different, I guess, call-out points for essential oils na talagang dapat matutunan ng lay user. And that is what we promote with our institution. And that is why I've been very also active in, gathering people, teaching them about oils. A lot of the things that I do are free kasi it's on YouTube, so it's free.
Okay.
A lot of those educational efforts are free. And I partner with a lot of institutions as well to educate people about oils.
Okay, so then again, like everything else, education is very important when you're going into something. Okay, so now we go into the more interactive part of our program, and these questions for Candy and Jerby, you can answer this as you go along and even talk to each other. So para bang it's a nice way to gel, yung para bang our alumni. So eto, how do you establish and design a wellness program for your employees or clients? Basically, yung para bang how does many people now kasi they want to be able to have a little freedom. Tama, it's more responsibility, but I think being an entrepreneur also gives you more room to grow. Am I right? I mean, at least develop, at least be able to explore your passions. Because when you're an employee or if you're in the corporate world, you're para bang limited also to your position or your job scope. Ganon. So para bang if you have any sudden spurt of passion, medyo na ano siya, yung para bang na ko-contain, di ba?
Yeah. Should you, Candy?
Good. Yeah,
Go ahead. Ikaw na,
I'm just gonna
Jerby.
listen now. Okay.
I agree. Because I can compare when I was in the corporate world. Ba, na, I can just imagine, nung nangyari yung pandemic, I was just imagining, okay, what if I had work pa? Nakaka-stress kasi I had to monitor pa in different status, right? Yung quarantine status. At least now, I'm just here. Parang, okay, ECQ, I'm ECQ. I don't really care because I'm just at home. So parang that's I guess one of the at least blessing, diba? Na kasi parang you don't really have to think much about that. But like what Candy pointed earlier, being an entrepreneur does not confine you within that 10-hour work time.
Yes.
Kasi you have to think about like, okay, for this quarter, what are my goals? What are my plans? I don't know if Candy sets targets sa kanya, but ako, I do that. I do quarterly planning. And then it's not a constant, I guess it's not a very secured parang stream of income like what you mentioned, William, na meron kang 15-30, being an entrepreneur, hindi. It's high tide, low tide. Like there are quarters na parang tipid ka konti.
Good days,
there
bad days, ganon.
Correct.
Yeah.
There are quarters na you can spend a little bit more. So yun. And Candy ko naman.
Yeah, oo. Ako kasi I continuously invest in my education. So that's part of entrepreneurship as well, no? That you continuously educate yourself. So meron kaming mental models in what it is called 10,000 experiments. And if you're in the corporate setting, you cannot experiment. You cannot. Kasi there are certain steps, there are certain policies, rules and regulations that you should follow, no? And scientifically, for them, no, it's proven. It's already proven. So ang gagawin mo na lang is you just follow the steps. But being an entrepreneur, it allows you to really experiment. And alam mo yung the time that you are in the lab nung bata ka, nung bata tayo, di ba yung learning tayo in the lab, kung ano-anong mixture yung ginagawa natin. So that's the beautiful thing about entrepreneurship is you can do it, no? You have that freedom, you have that flexibility to really to really experiment. And yung ina-experiment hindi naman yung kliyente, no? Okay? just to set things straight, no? Hindi yung kliyente yung ini-experimentahan mo. But you're actually experimenting the product first if it will work for you. Because if it works for you, eventually you can incorporate this to programs doon sa sa clients. But the thing here is magde-differentiate lang siya, mag-iiba lang siya. Since in my case, since I'm a life coach, I'm an expert on facilitating the process. Yung process yung kaya kong baguhin. Kunyari, let's see, it's a emotional healing package. It can be called the same, but the process will be different. And that's where the experimentation comes in, which is, for me, it's very fulfilling. It's very, very fulfilling. Because when something doesn't work for a client, you get to discover and you get to co-actively co-create with the client for the kind of results that they want in life. So that's something that I really enjoy being an entrepreneur, no? Is you can mix and match, kaya siya. And when you talk about holistic health, in my case, kasi I have a background of physical fitness, I have mental health certification, and I dive into as well though the food that you eat, how it affects the mental health. And tama nga sabi ni Jerby, it doesn't mean if it's organic, it's true. So unregulated din siya sa Philippines. So what I say is it's more of what is more natural. It comes from nature itself na unprocessed siya. It is better. But it is not a general rule, no? Especially if you put it on your mouth, di ba, pag pagkain siya. So it is really important to have that education. And being an entrepreneur, no, what I love is we don't, ako personally, I don't naturally just charge people. So what we do is we educate, we invest heavy on education, like we offer free workshops para ma-educate yung tao so they get to prepare to go in a journey with you. So that's something I really love being an entrepreneur.
Okay. And because we're already coming to the last stretch of our show, no, and we had a wonderful conversation, can I have na lang because the two of you have inspired me so much actually just by listening to, para bang it gives me hope in times na minsan we feel that there is no hope because like itong pandemic, we really don't know when it's going to end. Are things gonna come back to normal? Or if it does, will the same rules apply now? So for Candy and Jerby, can you give our viewers yung parang final messages on yung para bang how to sort of like at least yung para bang inspire them or uplift them, lalong-lalo na yung mga tao na para bang feeling nila wala na rin silang pupuntahan siguro. I mean, like the way you did for me in this conversation. So let's start with Jerby.
Sorry, that's my cat. Okay. Okay, so I always tell my students to find their passion. Because like ako, I always tell them my story na, all of these I've never really planned. It's because one thing led to the other. Like from rescuing animals, now I'm here. And I like what Candy mentioned. She's always invested in education. Same with aromatherapists here. Before me, I guess pushing girls to take their certification, getting certified as an aromatherapist is unheard of in the Philippines. As in, any girl wouldn't even know where to enroll. Wala talagang may alam. So it's part of my advocacy to tell people na, hey, there's a school, you can enroll here. And what's good about the pandemic is lahat naging online na. So it's so much easier as compared to me in 2018 that I had to go there and be there. So these girls na mentor ko now, they just take everything online and get certified. So find your passion, invest in education. And I feel that when you strengthen those two, eventually you'll find your own path. Because with aromatherapy and being an aromatherapist, there are actually many ways that you can branch out. So like me, over the past year, I've taken 3 more courses under animal aromatherapy because that's the facet that I wanted to build for myself today. And you can also be a clinical aromatherapist. I saw a question parang kanina sa chat na somebody wanted to talk about clinical aromatherapy or like the medical setting here.
Yes,
It's
yung
just
para
that
bang the stigma between that kasi yung para bang medical and clinical yung ganon. Yeah.
correct. So with that kasi, I think it's very regional because in the Philippines, it's not that well established. But if you go to Europe, most especially, being an aromatherapist is actually a profession. There's what you call clinical aromatherapist. So I hope it's my dream to bring the Philippines into that caliber. And
Okay.
that is why, I for this year's summit, I've been invited clinical aromatherapists to talk para malaman ng mga Pinoy na, there's such a thing as being a clinical aromatherapist. It maybe sa atin meron tayong stigma and perception na parang ay holistic alternative yan. It's not as important as those in the medical field kasi uso sa atin yung mga albularyo and that's what they call oil bularyo, di ba? So parang feeling ko na-connect doon na parang they put it under the medical people, but when you go to Europe, it's a very well established profession.
Yes.
It's a very well established. Not then in the US, it's not that not that ripe pa there. So yun, I hope it's my dream. It's my that's the drive that I want to go to na to take the Philippine aromatherapy industry into that level eventually.
Okay, and for you, Candy.
Gusto ko pumusa eh. Alam mo yung heart na reaction sa Zoom. Anyway, okay. So, si Jervy talked about passion, no? And it's passion is it's a good place to start. But when you talk about passion, kasi di ba, oftentimes pag passionate ka, you have that perception that you should be having fun, no? Na it's more of fun siya. Pag nahihirapan na, usually nawawala yung passion. But a good perspective for the definition of passion, actually, wala na itong masyado sa dictionary ngayon, I think, no? But the original meaning of passion is actually suffering, no? Which is the suffering of Christ. So if you look into passion, it means doing something that you love, but it is something that you love that you are willing to get hurt and to sacrifice for that passion. So if you're someone na nandun ka sa passion mo, you're doing your passion, and feeling mo nahihirapan ka, no, and you're already in that point of giving up, please know that again, passion is about suffering. Magkasama siya. So it doesn't mean that necessarily mali na yung tinahak mong daan, okay? It doesn't necessarily mean like that. And of course, we as life coaches, no, we offer this as well, discovery complementary coaching sessions that you can avail of. It's our really our heart of service to help, especially during this time of pandemic, no, na madaming especially di na nila alam yung gagawin nila sa buhay. Let's face it, no, meron mga unemployment, so they need to rediscover their passion. They need to rediscover and get their life aligned to what they really want and something meaningful. Yung iba nga may trabaho pero 'di ba nag-leave sila ng work because na-realize nila that life is short and they want to find purpose, they want to find fulfillment in whatever they're doing. So a life coach can help. So our doors are open, our lines are open. So it's 24/7, no? So it's 0917-586-1661. And if you see this coffee shop, Coffee Republic, it's not just a coffee shop, it is actually a coaching cafe. So anytime you need someone to talk to, you need someone to speak to help process your thoughts, or alam mo wala ka lang mapupuntahan for a safe space, our cafe is open. So anytime you come here, everyone here are life coaches. So yung mga nagsiserve sa'yo, life coaches. So technically, they can help you, they can talk to you, and eventually, you can have that safe space, you can have that refuge here, and it's a different kind of place, a place where you feel na pag feeling mo kakaiba ka and no one can accept you technically, this is the place for you. We celebrate all individuality. So ayan siya, and yun siya, and ako, no, personally, I am a product of this place. So ganun kasi ako before, di ba? I was suicidal, I was really hopeless, I was desperate. But when I got to this place, life just nag-spark nag-spark ulit yung life, and I experience hope. So it's different if you get to experience hope. So if you need an experience of hope really and to find hope, we invite you to come over. We invite you to connect with us or connect with me. So it's something that's really good. It starts with your passion as well.
Okay, and Miss Candy, where is it located again? Baka pumunta ako. So, baka ako ang
Ayan,
kailangan.
I would like to welcome you, William.
Yeah, saan siya?
So we are located inside the iconic Pioneer Center.
Okay.
So Pioneer Center compound in Capitolio, Pasig City.
Okay.
So we are just
malapit lang.
across Bayanihan Center. Sa Unilab, malapit lang.
Okay, naku, malapit lang ako sa Makati. So thank you very much. Dadaan ako dyan. So thank you very much, Candy and Jerby, for shedding light on these important matters about our health and wellness. And again, one thing I learned, para bang yung passion doesn't come easy and it doesn't come without challenges. So it does not necessarily mean that it's going to be a smooth path, but it means that if it's your passion, you stay the course. And then, of course, you're going to, if it's God's will, then para bang it'll everything will be okay. So thank you very much, Jervigo and Candy Tang, for that wonderful conversation. And as promised, the chosen individual, as promised, see, pagka-live kasi tayo, ang daming nangyayari. So, as promised, the chosen individuals who will bring home a tub of Chinky Chef and lamb curry flowers, curry and flowers by Sabrina also will be announced later on. So check our webpage again, YouTube and Facebook. So congratulations to the winners, whoever won this. And of course, I'm glad many people watch. So please send us a private message in our FB page and with your details, of course, to claim your prizes. Okay. For those who participated, don't fret. We have some giveaways courtesy of Dane's Cheese and D Cup Republic. Wait for the admin to contact you and claim your prizes. So once again, it has been a full night of learnings from our beautiful guests, Jerby and Candy. And join me again on JCA 2002 live on November. We're going to make this a regular show. So you're going to have a lot of learnings. And I'm really glad, that I learned this the personal way. And like, again, what we talked about earlier in the show, it really depends. Like what Miss Candy said, if you want to get better, you're gonna have to want it, because any people can give you help. But even if it's the right type of help, if you are not open to being helped, then where do we go? Everything is really a two-way street. So let's help each other, especially in this pandemic. Compassion is very, very important in all aspects and walks of life. So join me again on November, and stay tuned in our Facebook and Instagram pages. And to know our topic, see you again at 8 p.m. in the evening. And again, I am William Theo, your host for the evening, signing off now, and I'm looking forward to seeing you again soon.